What's up? What's up? All my true funk soldiers and club funketeers around the world. Funk, not fight. Closing out Black History Month right here on Funk from the Front Seat. 9 on the Grind TV. We got one of the most amazing, beautiful spirits, one of the most outstanding human beings, one of the most incredible bass players, producers, arrangers, band leaders, and also he's on some of my stuff. We got RESHARD is in the house today, and we're going to be kicking it, talking about his brand new release that just dropped. Amazing song called Libra. So y'all going to check that out too. Welcome to the Funk from the Front Seat Black History Month Forum. So I need everybody to clap your hands. We're going to start in Florida, where Al is residing at the moment, even though we know he's from New York today. I see y'all chiming in on the chat line already. What's up, George? The Funk Da Vinci. Thanks for joining us today, bro. Appreciate you. New York, where you at? Texas is in the house, George. Sonia, I see y'all down there. April. Hector Garcia, I know you got the mothership in Texas too, but we're gonna come up to Louisiana, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia. What's up, Pat? I love you. What's up, Brian? I love y'all. Maryland, the DMV, Delaware. Are you aware? Up down the East Coast, New York City, New Jersey. You heard? Pennsylvania, funky Philly, Philadelphia. What up? What up? What up? Ohio, what's up, Brenda? Hey, Bootsy. Hey, Patty. Yabba dabba dooza, baby, and let's funk, not fight. All right, Minneapolis, I see you up there, Gabe, in Detroit. Let's go to the West Coast. Yeah, the funky left coast. I got my peeps out there on the West Coast. 9 a.m., y'all gotta get up. Woo! Hawaii, Samoans doing the Humpty Hump, Humpty Hump. Tokyo, I'm Young Haseyo, China, Japan, Germany. What's up, Tanny Soul Sister? Cocolino in Italy, I love you. Elizabeth in Ireland, I love you, dear. DJ Monica in Sweden, thank you, sweetheart. Clap your hands in Dubai, in Africa. Clap your hands, y'all. North and South Pole. Puerto Rico, Colombia. Yo, today's the 2nd anniversary of Ukraine, yo. The war, yo. What up? What's up with that? Funk from the Front Seat wants your opinion, so you stay active on the chat line. All right? All around the world for the funk. Any place I can think of. Australia. What's up, Carmen? All right. Yeah, my wardrobe. See, I got you, babe. Love you, boo. Just me today in the Funk Not Fight. Yeah, she told me, hey, close out Black History Month like you own it, son. I got a funny story to tell y'all later at the end of the show. Shout out to my daughters, Kayla Maya, and my son, Zachary. I love all y'all. Y'all out there in the world out doing your own thing. Big ups to my guy, Jeff Roberson. Love you, bro. RESHARD is in the house today. Woo! And it just don't stop with him, yo. My nephew, John, is crushing it all around the world. Nothing but the funk every Saturday. Funk from the Front Seat, 9 on the Grind TV, right here. Tony Cam, thoughts and prayers out to my dog. Amari, I love you, bro. Rest in peace. Funk from the Front Seat. Shout out to all the club funketeers and ambassadors all around the world. Making it funky, y'all. Holding it down for every boy and girl. Chelsea, I hope you feel better, sweetie. I know you're watching. Yeah, I've been down with that cold thing too, you know. Plenty of vitamin C, echinacea, and plenty of fruit. Yeah. All around the world, I know y'all be funking it up. Funk from the Front Seat right here 9 on the Grind TV. Y'all can always hit us up. Drop us a few coins in my Venmo account if you like. This is the station that supports all the Funketeers. I see my guy Al Rashad just beamed in from Florida. By way of the Bottom Boys and the Bottom Boys. Yeah, he just beamed in by way of the Bottom Boys transport portal. Only y'all, certain number of y'all know about that. Funk from the front seat. Thank you guys for tuning in today. We got a really special show. Obviously, we're closing out Black History Month. It's been a very special month. So each and every guest and each and every person that's subscribed and check out and hit that subscribe button on YouTube and all that stuff with the numbers. You know, I don't care about that stuff, but some people do. So, you know, please know that every opinion and every subject matter on this show is mine and mine alone, and the opinion of my guest, not YouTube, not StreamYard. We love you. Not Twitter, not Facebook. No, they are not responsible for any opinions that we have on this show. So please don't try to go after them. If you have a problem, you can come after me. It's perfectly fine. So today, Black History Month is closing, and it always goes by really fast. We seem like, wow, we do something at the beginning, and then bang, it's the end. So I challenge you to all think about it in terms of this. Black history, yeah, it's great. I love it. I'm glad that we recognize it, but every day is American history, and we're all Americans. I am not necessarily a Afro-American. I'm a Black American descended from Afro-Americans, but I was born in America, so that makes me a Black American in my opinion. I never choose the term Afro-American only because if I was born and was from Africa, I might grab that moniker. But I do identify with the DNA and my ancestors. Therefore, using the term Afro is perfectly fine with me. I really don't mind. Either way is fine. So, yeah, we got some new stuff that we're going to turn y'all on to coming up down the line. My co-host, Cheryl, is going to be on the show doing some shows when I take some time off. She is eagerly being trained by my amazing producer, Mr. Mark Lee. And Mr. Mark Lee is responsible 50% of this show and makes it go behind the scenes. And everything that you don't see me do, Mark is back there doing. So I really love that, bro, and I appreciate him, man. He's definitely an asset to the Funk Army team. David Brooks, of course, helped rebuild the new website, nappyheadfunkarmy.com. So, he's part of the Nappyhead Funk Army team as well, as my OGs going into the Funk Hall of Fame, which is dope. I really appreciate that. And we're really excited about that. That's going to happen, late spring, early summer, because I'm still working on some things and trying to get up there. But, today, this brother and I go way back. Before I bring him on, I'm going to set him up. We go way back, like the days of Cracker Jack and Click Clacks. We all go all the way back to the 80s, okay? Now, that's a minute. We've done gigs and played gigs and did gospel and worked for Jeff and, came back and worked for him again and stayed in touch over the years. And he actually did the bass line and wrote the bass line for Funk Chromicon Variant, Flag on the Funk. He was the first brother I reached out to, as well as, I was honored to have one of his CDs, Segway, named after something that I used to say back in the band called One to One. So all these things I remember about this brother, man, his family, his beautiful spirit, and his love of music. And first and foremost, his love of jazz music. So right now, without further ado, I would like to bring in to you, to funk it up Libra style for you, Mr. Al Rashard from Florida. Where's Mark? Mark sleeping back there? Okay, hold on. What up, bro?
Good morning. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Funketeer, man. How you doing, bro?
I can't complain. You can hear me okay?
Yeah, man. We got you perfectly, man. I see you in the studio constantly working on the grind.
Always. And thanks for that wonderful introduction.
What'd you say?
I said, thanks for that wonderful introduction.
Hey, man, I'm just speaking facts, bro. Everybody knows it. The amount of dirt and road time that you and I got on each other's sleeves holding it up is incredible, man. I am so blessed to still be a part of your life and have you be a part of mine. And even from, just calling you up, talking and laughing about, Donald Trump and then, right, just talking about the music scene, our families and things like that, man. So for my audience that's just tuning in, that's seeing you for the first time, man, give us a little background on who you are and what it is you do.
Well, you told most of it. Hail from New York. Um, got into the music scene a few years before I actually met you, and got into Jeff Roberson's band. And I was just more or less following my sister. She went to music and art, so I got to see all these cats like Marcus and Kenny Washington and all these different players. And the bug just bit me. So I just started playing a little in church. As I said, got with One to One, and that kind of like springboarded me into the jazz fusion genre, if you will. Chick Corea, Electric Band, Yellow Jackets, and that's kind of where I kind of lean towards. Then of course David Sanborn with the Marcus Millers and that whole deal. Excuse me. Um, so I kept up with that. Started recording. When I moved to Florida, um, I did a couple of gospel albums first off. Then I formed my own band, Segway. A la. So I did that, and I just kept going with it, and ever since I've just been recording, when I can, and then just trying to put out new music.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, that cut you got out now that we're gonna play a little bit later in the show, Libra.
Mhm.
I was like, when I listen to you play, I'm like, I don't even want to play music because it's like I'm like, I can't do that. I'm like, I don't even want to. I just want to like just listen to amazing music, man. You've always had the jazz bug per se, even though you were doing other things, right? I
Mhm.
always noticed that even way back when I first met you, and you got some fans chiming in, Dr. Brookenstein, Georgia Funkovinci from Texas,
Mhm.
but I always was amazed that you knew so much about that genre, being a young cat, at the time, because I was young. I was only in my mid 20s. So when
Mhm.
I met you, you were like what, 20, 21, maybe 20,
Around
18,
that, yeah.
around there. Yeah, you was real young. And I might have been a little older. I might have been my late 20s because I know I got you by 10 or 15. But I was like, man, this young brother, you was naming names that I didn't even know. Like the first time you said, oh, Patitucci, I was like, what's a Patitucci? That Italian pastry. You know what I'm saying? He's like, no, man, Patitucci. I swear like it's a Patitucci, right? We used to
Mhm.
debate. So what drew you to that genre, bro? What drew you to that genre?
Again, I have to go back to like going to the shows at Music and Art, seeing these young cats do their thing, and they were all like virtuosos. I just found out that Bela Fleck even went to Music and Art, so which is kind of weird because he's bluegrass. But yeah, just kind of seeing these guys do this thing, and there was one guy, Al McDowell. That was the first time I saw somebody thump, And notice I say thump, I don't say slap. I never slapped the bass in my life. That's mill hitting.
Right, right.
We thump and pluck a la Larry Graham, right? So I just, started saying that stuff, and it wasn't enough for me to, just kind of play my role, which is cool. I wanted to get out front, and then I got into the Jocko Pistorius. I'm like, wow, you can be
Yeah,
a front man, you know? And you know how it is when you're, especially drums and bass, um, a lot of times we tend to sit around and wait for somebody to call us, right? We got to get out there and, do your own thing, sometimes. And I just took that attitude. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna wait for anybody to call me. Let me just do what I want to do and do it how I want to do it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's one of the best attitudes and one of the best pieces of advice that you've just shared. And we're hanging out with Al Rashad today on the front seat, because young people need to know that. Like if you play an instrument nowadays, it's almost like you're an outcast. And there's nothing against everybody that's doing it electronically. Don't get me wrong, I love all that.
Mm.
But like you said, there's probably somebody sitting home right now saying, man, who's going to call me? Where am I going to get into something? No, like the brother just eloquently said, start your own thing, do your own thing. You know, bass players now. Well, I'll ask you this question in a minute because I see so many young ladies kicking it now. But bass players now, you guys are just. I take it for granted that you're going to be up front. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Doing what you do, man. What do you think about the influx of all these beautiful young sisters of all colors, playing and killing and thumping the bass now?
I think it's amazing. My first introduction to a female bass player was Michelle Indigiocello, and when she came out
Oh
with
wow.
Plantation Lullabies,
Oh God,
I was
yes.
like, oh, her groove is just
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Then after that, I started seeing like Tal Wilkenfeld,
Yes.
and now they have this another amazing bassist. What's her name? Mohini Day.
Is that the
It,
lady from Africa?
India, yeah,
India. Yeah, 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 yeah.
she's all over the place.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's amazing. And I said, it's like okay, when you think about like playing a bass, it's not like there's some sort of physical thing that you have to do. I mean, you wouldn't put on a court with a LeBron. So it's fingers and emotion and creativity, which we all have. So
Yeah. I love the fact that we can sit here now in 2024 and actually say these words, about ladies, doing things that before not necessarily were the best for them because they weren't given the opportunity, you know. And pioneer and kudos to all those ladies, including Rhonda V. Smith and all of them that broke these
Rhonda,
barriers. Yeah, that said, hey, we can get up here and hold this bass and drums and do all this stuff too,
hmm
So I'm glad, man. That makes me feel really, really good. And you ladies out there, you young ladies out there watching the show, or if you got somebody in your family that wants to play bass, yo, go for it, man. Go for it, because we need that.
absolutely.
So you've been playing and doing this jazz thing, and you were influenced by so many from the area. When you look at jazz today, right, or
hmm
jazz fusion today, and it's there. It's mainstream with the Kenny G's, but I don't really consider that what you do, right?
hmm
And how do you think society is looking at the genre now as it did when we were in the 80s and 90s or 70s, 80s, when it was like, oh, you got a crate full of fusion albums. You know what I'm saying? How do
hmm
you how do you feel about that?
Well, you got to look at it when if you go back to the '70s, right, our era, it was something new,
Yeah.
right? And what's his name? Uh, what's that guitarist? I can't remember his name. Anyway, he talked about the suits getting involved. Back in the day, the suits were like, "Hey, I don't know what this is. Let's throw it out there." Frank Zappa.
Yes,
He
Zappa.
said,
Yes.
he said, "I don't." The executives were like, "Let's throw it out there and see what happens." And then when the suits got involved, right, and it's a money making entity, now it's like, oh, give me somebody that sounds like such and such. I want a streamlined. I want it only 3 minutes. I don't want too much soloing going on. That type of thing, right? And of course, the popular music is just going to take precedence, like the raps and the R&Bs and stuff like that. So now it's we have our own niche, so to speak, and it's in the United States. It's kind of like okay, fine or whatever. But I notice overseas, it's still appreciated, more and more. So that's why a lot of guys go overseas to get those gigs and play and be appreciated. Now it's like
Yeah.
you know and also with the internet, you can see, like before, when we want to see Stanley Clark or one of those cats, it was like wait all year and maybe you catch them on some show or whatever for four
Right.
seconds.
Right.
Now like, you can just punch it in and there it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's yeah, you have to find areas where it's appreciated and where it's still being played, type of thing. Even what I do, am I going to get a lot of radio play? I don't know. Maybe not. Probably not. But again, it's what I love to do. And you look at Chick, he didn't have a whole lot of radio play, but he was still out there. People were checking out the music. So like I say, anything that you pour your heart into, somebody's going to appreciate it, and there are going to be people that are, be receptive to it.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if 100 years from now, I'm gone. But there's one person that comes across my music and says, "Oh, that was cool." You
I like that attitude because that's kind of like where my mindset is a lot of times,
know.
and we're running his stuff at the bottom. He's on Apple Music, he's on Instagram, and we'll share all his information. So just check out the bottom and also go to YouTube. I posted it in the Facebook chat where you can go to his link and listen to his brand new song Libra and check out that amazing music that this brother does, man. Al, you've been in this business for a long time. Obviously, my nephew, your son, is doing his thing too, and I know you're very, very proud of him, man. And I always applaud the fact that when I see you two guys together doing stuff out there, I'm like, yo, that's what's up. That's got to be an amazing feeling. But who in your family was musical going way back in the day, like your blood, your family, and not people from church, just in your family.
In my family, it all started with my father. He played the sousaphone back in Florida here, and he was supposed to go to FAMU, be part of the marching 100 and the whole bit, but money and books and all that stuff, he couldn't afford it. So anyway, but it didn't squash his love for music. So we moved up to New York, and I remember we had everything in that living room. We had saxophones, trombones, organs, all sorts of stuff, pianos. And yeah, and so he got my sister Gail. She went to the Carnegie School of Music, right? And I'm like, I was mad, and just recently I found out. It's like, how come you didn't send me to piano school? It's like, well, we did, and you cried. You didn't want to go.
Ah,
So that started the whole thing, and yeah, just following her and seeing that stuff, and Jeff, got into the rap and the whole bit, and yeah, it's just been a musical thing with all of us.
that's what's up. Because a lot of times, we don't know when we're young how we're influenced by the stuff we hear until we go back years later and think, oh yeah, I remember sitting in so and so was doing this, and then
Hmm.
that inspired me.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I think that the music that I hear coming off your hands and fingers and out of your creative space in your mind is unique, and that's why every time you drop something new, I can't wait to hear it because
Thank you.
I know it's going to sound exactly like you
Thank you.
and no one else, and that to me is special. You know what I'm saying? Even the difference between what John does and what you do, is different, man. So we're gonna run that in a bit, and we're gonna ask you what inspired that. But first, y'all stay active on the chat line. If you have any questions for Al, please type them in the chat line so we can get it to this brother and talk a little bit more about what he does and his music and stuff. Georgia Funkavinci's working on Enema Squad's cover art. Yo, that's dope, bro. Enema Squad, that's my dogs, Gabe and them. But yeah, so if you were talking to a young person today and you were going to tell them, this is something that I always tell young people. You do not know how heavy the equipment was and how hard it was to load in and out back then as opposed to now. So if you were going, and this is a weird question, but if you were going to tell them, hey, listen, you don't even know, you can carry something this big and they can make it sound like that, where we
Mm.
used to have to carry help bass players and drummers, right?
Oh,
Go ahead, bro. Go.
yeah, you remember? I think it was the Ampeg, super heavy, about the size of the monitor, and weighed like a television set. Then the 810s, you're trying to wheel, you can barely get it in your car. Yeah, it was
I remember SVT bottoms, SVT
SBTs.
and pegs, right? And like you
Yeah.
said, you couldn't really get it in your car. It used to stick out the trunk, man. It's true. It used to stick out the trunk, bro. And then the head itself was like the size of a big suitcase, you know?
Exactly. Exactly.
And the sound was, of course, incredible. But now, with all of the innovations, right?
Hmm.
How do you feel innovations have helped in jazz music? Because I know it's helped in the funk genre, but how do you
Hmm.
feel those innovations, keyboards, bass, guitars, have helped in jazz?
Well, I can only really speak from like an upright player, that they're kind of temperamental when it comes to amplification. So they make it like a Fishman. and that's the big thing too. The mic that you use is very important. But when it comes to amplification from that point on, anything pretty much works. They're all pretty similar. Unless you're looking for a specific sound, more lows, more highs,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that comes
yeah.
from your configuration. Your 10 inches, your horn, to whatever you have
Yeah,
in your
yeah,
cabinet.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, because I noticed because when we think about the Chick Coreas of the world, Herbie Hancocks and Georges of the world, and those piano and keyboard players back then, all the equipment that they used to have,
Hmm.
spectrometers, or even live. I saw George Duke live. It was
Hmm.
almost like he had a science office on, computer. He was into the computer thing early on. And,
Hmm.
and sequencing and running tracks along what he was playing, right? And I look now, and when I listen to the music, if I'm not listening to your stuff or, the Kevin Harrington experiment or things like that, I don't really, and there's so many great, because I listen to a couple of jazz Spotify stations, and I
Hmm.
try to listen every now and then. They'll play something, but I listen to it, and a lot of it sounds very homogenized.
Hmm.
That's not taking nothing away. Because when they play something like that, and then all of a sudden Marcus Miller comes on with something, I'm like, there's the difference right there. You
Right.
know, and I know you're down with Marcus and all of them, and Victor Wooten and all of them, man. You're in those same circles, man. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
What do you think about those guys? Some of those guys, and what they've done as far as keeping the jazz alive.
I think it's amazing, and even with those guys, it's not they're allowed to express all parts of them. Like as you know, like Marcus has a big R&B. I mean, he wrote for Luther Vandross and the whole bit, so he incorporates a lot of that into his music and into his shows. Right? To make a living at this, you have to perform. You have to be able to sell, units or whatever, and you have to draw your crowd. So they're not going to sit there and listen to me do a 5 minute Patitucci solo. It's just not going to happen. It's like, what are all those funny notes, right? So it's a mixture. It's like, yeah, I can do what I want. I can get my virtuosity off, but at the same time I can keep them bobbing their heads, type of thing or whatever. So they kind of figured out how to do that. And like a Victor Wooten, with all of that pyrotechnics that he can do, it's visual, right? Before, back in the day, when you went to see somebody perform, even in R&B, you can have somebody kind of stand there and do their thing or whatever. Now you have to have a 16 uh, person entourage doing something, and it's so visual now that the almost the music has taken a back seat to the the pop and circumstance. So
I'm glad, because we're gonna go down this rabbit hole right now. Because I'm glad you said that. We're hanging out with Al Rashad, jazz extraordinary bass player, man. We get ready to drop his new track Libra on the other side of the half hour. So funk from the front seat, not on the grind TV. So when I'm glad, because see, we're still here.
hmm
Our people, our peeps are still here. George said, I used to lug my DJ equipment back in the 70s and 80s, and it was a lot. That's right, man. We're still here. And I feel the same way as you. When I
hmm
listen to this stuff, and I say, okay, if I took away the rocket ships flying over dropping bombs, if I took away the 4th of July pyrotechnics in the back, if I took away the blue screen that they got other stuff happening in the back, and then I took away every colored light imaginable and just stripped it down, what do I got? I get Adele. Right?
hmm yeah.
Now, right, I get
Yeah.
it down, and that's the music I like. Because when I listen to her,
Uh-huh.
watch her, I'm like, all right, she's singing. It may be a little bit here, visual, some lights up and down, this and that, but somebody like that, their music comes through. Chaka Khan, their music cuts through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even Alicia Keys, to a point, when she's not on bigger stages, she gives you that intimate. And I
Mm-hmm.
think when you have the kids nowadays, they look at so much pop stuff blowing up, they forget about, like you said, the music takes a backseat, you
Exactly.
know. And this is
Exactly.
fun from the front seat, so we can't allow that.
Hmm.
I agree with that. Was well said, and I'm glad you said that, man. I'm gonna
Nice.
cut that up and use it for a short, because that's very, very true. What do you think we could do to change that?
You know what? It's hard. I don't even have answers. I think the genie's out of the bottle, and I think
Yeah,
what drives a lot at the end of the day is money,
yeah,
finance.
yeah,
and we don't even know what we like. You know, you can start seeing how things were going to turn out when these big conglomerates started buying up all of the radio stations, right? So now you
Yeah,
have, I think they're like two, like I forget what they are, iHeart and something else, and they stream to all these different radio stations, the same set, the same amount of songs, whatever, you know. So you don't get variety anymore. You have to thankful, you know, for the internet. You can go and like Pandora or wherever and hear different things, hear newer music or whatever. But most people aren't going to do that. They're going to turn to their regular radio station and hear the same 5 or 6 songs over and over and over in the
yeah,
same genre over and over and over.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and you don't get this cross um, breeding of music like we used to have back in the day. Like I remember as a kid listening to ABC or whatever in New York, they played everything. You hear Sly and the Family Stone, you hear Rolling Stones, you hear. So you got a chance to hear different types of music when you listen. Now it's all streamed. You're gonna hear all rap, you're gonna hear all rock, you're gonna hear all R&B.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
I
don't
think
like the fact that, like you said, I mean, I get it because I have some friends of mine that work at iHeart and everything, and they be doing their thing, Captain B and Ashley, I love y'all, man. And I get it why corporate is making money, because it's about making money. And I think, thank God, the internet is here. That's one of the most more positive things we can use it for, is to express ourselves. Like, there'd be no Funk from the Front Seat if it wasn't for the internet. You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? So I am so grateful for that. Right now we're hanging out with Al Rashad, Phone from the Front Seat, 9 on the Grind TV. We're going to come back on the other side after I give a few shout outs. Al, you hang out with us and you're going to tell us a little bit about Libra and what inspired you to do that. Now, I know that's your sign, right?
No, no, not even.
That's not your sign.
Wait till I
See,
tell you the story.
yeah, see, that's why you tricked me. That's why I didn't say it in the chat. I was almost gonna say it, then I was like, I'm not sure if that's a sign or not. But yeah, hold that story. Tell us when we come back. Y'all hang out, Funk from the Front Seat, man.
Hey, this is Keith Jackson with P-Funk Radio, inviting you to check out my brother Zach Robinson with Funk from the Front Seat. Saturdays, 12 noon on the East Coast and 9 a.m. on the West Coast. It all happens on 9 on the Grind TV and also on YouTube. Great guest, great conversation each and every Saturday. That's Funk from the Front Seat with Zach Robinson on 9 on the Grind TV and YouTube. Check him out.
Hey, this is Jen Vanderputten, writer of Code and Prose. You are watching Funk from the Front Seat with Zach Roberson. Tune in every Saturday at noon for excellent and important conversation.
This is Joe Keys of Joe Keys and the Late Bloomer Band. Just did a show with my man Zach. Number 9. That's right. Number 9's got it going on. Check out Funk from the Front Seat. Zach Robinson.
Hey, it's Chrissy Key Rollins here with Holistic Restoration, inviting you to check out Zach Robinson with Funk in the Front Seat. He drops new episodes every Saturday at noon on the East Coast time, and replays are posted for whenever you miss a live stream. You can find him on 9 on the Grind TV and also on YouTube, and get ready for the funk because he brings it every week, along with hot topics, amazing guests, and great conversations. Again, that's Zach Robinson with Funk from the Front Seat on 9 on the Grind TV and YouTube. Go check them out.
Hey fam, what's goody good? What's really good? My name is Jeff Roberson from the gospel group called Jeff Roberson and New Life. And I'm coming to you from the town that we had to name it twice. It's so nice. New York, New York. And I'm bringing you some news about my brother from another mother, Brother Zach, who's bringing you his hot new show called Funk from the Front Seat. Listen, he's bringing you funk from the vault, from the past, from the present, and into the future. He's got that music that makes the hair on the back of your neck rise up. He's bringing you funk all the way down to your toes. This is that funk that makes you really want to groove. Stay tuned. Don't touch that dial as he brings you funk from the front seat. Listen, let's go.
That's your dog right there, bro.
There you go.
All right. JTRP, thank you. P-Funk Radio, Gabe Gonzalez on Wednesday nights, of course, doing his thing, the Undisco Kid. Larry Funkster Jones on Saturday. Thank you so much. Robin Circular P, I love you guys, man. Bootsy and Patty, of course, thank you for your love and always sending me positive vibes and inspiration when I need it. HJ Entertainment, Heidi, I love you. Kane and Jams, Kev, I know you're working on a song for me right now, so I appreciate that. Tony Cam, I just lost our brother, man, Amar, and I love you, Amir, and we know we got you, man. You got us, bro, because you're a funk soldier, man. Nappy Head Funk Army, of course, and my 2.0 Nappy Head Funk Army down here. Love you guys. Don't forget, April 26th, Friday night, we're making our debut, Funk Chromicon Variant, Flag on the Funk, at our favorite place, the Poorhouse in Raleigh. Oak City Music Collective. We dine with them. We ride or die, man. Afterglow 92416. Q&A Entertainment. I love you, Donna. Brooke Clagett, my funk angel. Hope to see you soon. Love TXS Energy Drinks. I haven't seen you in a minute, but I still need some more of those. Patricia Diori, Aquarius Rising Arts and Graphics. Curtis Wilcox from Georgia Funkovici. Some of this beautiful artwork right behind me here. Dr. Brookenstein, the curator of the Nappy Head Funk Army, and he's much as a funk soldier as anyone. DJ Coccolino, I love you in Ireland. David Webb, Funk Hall of Fame, Funk Chronicles and Exhibition Center, which is a tongue twister for me every time, in the Dayton, Ohio. Y'all check him out because that's where all the true funk soldiers, brothers and sisters are. And Nappy Head Funk Army will be graciously hanging next to in that wall, flying the Hall of Funk. So we're going to make that happen this summer. And thank you, David Webb, for that opportunity. And all of you guys that staying active on the chat line, whether you typing in or not, we know you're there because I know you watch it because I see some of the numbers sometime, and it's always beautiful. George DeFuncovinci, of course, we love you. Dr. Brookenstein, of course, we love you. So, Al, let's get back to Libra. Before Mark plays it, set us up with why Libra.
Okay. That song was actually written by a good friend of mine, a fellow drummer, by the name of John Lumpkin. And it was originally meant to go to Snarky Puppy, right? They had a contest, and you're sending your song, and if they decide to pick it up, they'll pick it up. Well, they didn't pick it up. So then he came to me, he said, hey, put a solo on this, right? So I put a solo on it, sent it back. And then he came back and he says, you know what? I want you to reimagine it. Right, so he gave me the whole song. He's like, do whatever you want to do with it. So, of course, my first call is to John. I'm like, John, I got this song. I need you to produce and, work your magic. And John got a hold of it, changed all the keyboard parts, added a soli, that little horn section. And what was cool about it, I said, I wanted to do 2 bass solos. I want you to solo, and then I want to solo after you. So that first solo is John doing the fretless.
Yeah, okay.
And then I came back and I did the 6-string stuff in the end. So that's what you have after all said and done.
All I know is when I heard it, because I like to listen to music first, I get it. I'll put on my headphones, right? And then I'll analyze it as best I can, listen to the details, and then I'll put it on into my playlist and have it surprise me. When I'm riding, and then when I look down, because I was like, wow, that's tight. And then I looked down, I was like, oh, that's Al. You know what I'm saying, John? So yeah, I get it. I understand why it caught my attention, and I blasted in my car, when I'm working and stuff. So Mark, are we ready with that back there, bro? Let's run that, bro. My guy back there, Mr. Mark Lee. No money, bro. No cheeseburgers today. It's not in. Man,
Thank you.
I'm choking over here. Man, I can't even fathom. Okay, start at the beginning. Who played? Who are the players?
Okay, so of course John Lumpkin played all the drums, all the keyboards. That's John. Guitar, that's John. Horn arrangement, John did the horn arrangement, and I had two friends of mine, trumpeter by the name of Sheldon Quick and a saxophone player by the name of Jaron Walker, and that's it.
Dude. Words escape me when I hear music like that because number one, I know how hard you work to perfect what it is that you do, and then number two, you're doing at such an extremely high level that people like myself, and I know my dog Kev is watching, whatever, if not, he'll watch it later, because y'all do stuff that other people aren't doing. And what your solo, you said, yeah, it was so nonchalant, you're so humble. Yeah, I just picked up the sixth string, and just did that. I'm like, man, see, that's why I told you. When I listened to it, I was like, I don't want to play music. I can't do that.
Yeah,
I'm like, Dad, 2 and 4, Dad, you're doing, but you know what I'm saying?
I gotta tell you, I gotta tell you, Zach. So you remember how John would be there watching us, right? And of course, I told him, and he took it to a whole new level. But guess what? When he got to that whole new level, he came back and got me.
Yeah.
Right. So I can do all this. I might play something, and he might make a suggestion. It's like, well, this is, I know what you hear, but this is what you're trying to get at. So I have that in my corner.
Yeah,
so makes it easier for me to.
Yeah. See, that's the beauty of what his genius is, and what his gift is, taking it to that next level, because our DNA is always going to be a step from where we were. Like I'm sure you took it from your pops and took it to, that other thing, whatever, man. That's why I'm so happy to be able to do this show. I gotta tell you, because of things like that you guys will only hear on Funk from the Front Seat. Okay.
Exactly.
So you guys recorded it, you dropped it, and it's doing well. I look at it and I see it, I play it or whatever, right? Do you have any upcoming shows with John or without that you guys are doing?
Nah, he's so busy touring with All for One. So I'm trying to get in the jazz festival that's happening here, I think in May sometime.
Okay,
So
we're gonna manifest that and we're going to make that happen. Everybody out there watching the Jazz Fest in May, we need Al Rashad and Segway, and of course playing Libra on it. For you guys that want to check out his music, look at the bottom. The scroll's been going on through the whole show. You can find the stuff there. And also, I give you a shout out because everybody says, well, who played bass on Flag on the Funk? And I said, I did the original, and I'm hitting 2 notes. I said, but the other stuff is my dog down in Florida, Al Rashad. So
thank you for that. Thank you for including me in that. I
hey,
love
dude,
that.
this is just the beginning. You're gonna be getting a lot more. And I still gotta pay you for that.
I love it.
Pay the other guy, but you're gonna be getting a lot more because hey, it's family. It's family, man. So tell us a little bit about the scene in Florida as opposed to, say, New York when it comes to jazz fusion. Because I know you're in a large Latin kind of vibe kind of thing. What's going on down there?
Well, here it's 2 flavors. Well, 3 flavors actually.
Yeah.
You have like the rock side of the fence, right? Then you have the R&B, and everybody's doing covers because that's what the club owners want. And it's a big jazz area. We have the University of North Florida, great jazz programs, and of course Douglas Anderson. So there's a lot of straight ahead, which is like not my vein. I appreciate it, listen to it, look at it, and I always said if I was a straight ahead player, I would have been a sax player because I like those lines, But there's a lot of work for that, and of course you have the symphony. There are a lot of guys that I know that play in the orchestra. So it's a mixed bag. Like myself, being that I'm not playing my own music, I'm to make money. I'm playing in cover bands. I'm playing Sublime, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Snoop. to stay active, so to speak. But as far as like what I love doing, I don't really get a chance to do. It's here and there.
Yeah. That's cool. Because we got to do that. Like I can't do it anymore because my brain will explode. But I did that here on drums. I played in pop bands and wedding bands, this and that. But then I got to the point, New York, we did cover bands like forever, And then when I moved here, whatever, and I finally got this thing up and running kind of like I want. I just won't take. People ask me, "Hey, you want to play drums?" I was like, "Nah." I did a few times to help out Penda and everything, but I don't really hear that in me anymore. And if I'm not enthusiastic about something, I think I'd be cheating the people, even if I'm just trying to play something as simple as Billie Jean. You know what I'm saying? It's intricate. And I used to love to lay that pocket, that dum 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 dum, because I used to put, I love it. But after a while, I was like, you know what? God wants me to do what I do, and God clearly wants you to do what you do because you're making that music, man. So shout out to you, all of you guys that are watching out there. Y'all better go back and look and see this brother. Don't sleep on this brother, and don't sleep on John, man, because it's cool. Mark, jump in for a minute, Mark, because I know you got questions. I hear you scratching at the glass back there.
Yeah, no one's scratching at the glass and everything. I actually did have a question for Al and all along those lines, because one thing that I've been observing, Al, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, because I was telling Zach that we had the String Queens, which is a band out of D.C. They're mostly classical and jazz violinists, but they incorporate other music like Juvenile and Aretha Franklin. And then we just recently had, and I just found this out, a gentleman from Mexico that is the head of the North Carolina Symphony. So he's incorporating some Mexican music into the traditional Haydn and Brahms and all along those lines. So I was just wondering your thoughts about how a lot of musicians are crossing genres, because I had actually said that this was going to happen back when I was in college in the 80s, and it seems to be very prominent where a lot of musicians are crossing genres, even gangster grass, which you mentioned, Bella Flax mixes bluegrass with hip hop and everything. But I just wanted your take on this blended genres, because a lot of times you can't even tell whether the person is jazz or what they are, because they are using a lot of different styles in their musical influences. So I was wondering your take on that.
I absolutely love it. It's almost like it's the 70s again. When you think about jazz, well, go back to like swing era. All of a sudden somebody wants to do bop. What is this, right? And then you started getting into the electronic, the Chick Coreas, that whole thing, the Herbie Hancocks, and then you bring in the electric guitars, and so now we're doing it with genres of music all over again. Everything repeats itself, right? And I just love it.
the amount of energy that it takes to record, like you guys do, um, when you're in the studio and you're recording, this is one thing I always marveled about jazz guys and guys like yourself, jazz fusionists, because you can read obviously, but when you're reading,
Very little.
very yeah, hey, I feel you, right? That's what I'm saying. It's like you're basically here, right?
Hmm.
Um, how are you understanding and thinking about it from a point of being technical but still keeping the flavor and the feel? Because there's a fine line that you guys have to walk. Tell me about how you walk that line.
That's a very good question, and my answer is I really don't know. The I guess it's kind of like Coltrane said, learn it and forget it. So and let it work its way into your playing, right? Because I'm sure we all have these things we do, even from a funk. I take stuff from funk, right? And it just happens because I hear it and I know where I got it from. Like I borrow from different players. I borrow from Patitucci. What would he do? I know his whole catalog. So they're bits and pieces. And even when I'm like learning like etudes, right? Pat Martino has these 5 etudes that I learned, right? And the thing is to break them up and use different pieces in different sections, right? Of the song. You might hear a 4 note phrase or a 2 bar phrase. So that's how I kind of do it. Now, with that, studios is way much playing live because you can go back and and as I'm going through, like if you notice the section where my solo is, I don't even know what that time signature is. It feels weird. It's not straight 4/4. So talking with John or whatever, he's like, play something, play a little motif, and then listen to what comes next. And it flows. And then at the end of it, you got this whole solo worked out. And if I don't like something, I can go back and, fix it so there's no pressure. Whereas if you're doing live, it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I was listening to that part of the song and trying to understand the time signature. It's almost like it's in 3/8 or some weird kind of yeah. It because it was like weird, and that's why I was sitting here when I first heard it, and it switched up. I was like, all right, I know it's not 7/8,
Hmm.
but it felt like it was like 3/8 or 4/8. It was just weird. It wasn't 4/8 either.
No,
It felt
it's
like it was cut in half and then spliced and then cut in half again with how it was being played. And for
mhm.
you to feel that, that's that line, the gift that you have, bro. That's the gift that you have. I know Mark is a blues connoisseur and he understands that, and as well as his jazz thing or whatever. But I wanted to ask you both a question, but I'll ask Al first. Where do you see the future of jazz going in America as far as airplay and venues?
Airplay, I don't know. You're always gonna have, as far as like venues, gonna have like your jazz alleys and places that cater to that, type of thing. So that'll stick. As far as musicianship, I don't know because they've taken a lot of that out of schools.
Yeah,
So what the kids gonna learn? What's a popular thing? Nintendo or whatever. Just like my neighborhood, I don't see kids playing outside like I used to when I was a kid growing up. I don't see a whole be a gang of us on bicycles or
yeah,
skateboards. You don't see that anymore. Everybody's on their little clicker or whatever. So I don't know.
yeah,
It's gonna take like a revolution to like, okay, this is what we're doing. Somebody has to say, okay, this is part of your curriculum now. And I think they miss out the benefit of music in schools, right? Music's mathematics. It helps.
yeah. Mark, same
You
question, bro.
alluded to it earlier and everything. I think that there is definitely a room for the jazz stations, and some of them are on Spotify and some of the other things, including internet and community radio. So I think that that is where a lot of the market is. Definitely, we have jazz stations here in Durham, and we also have them. I know that they exist in DC and a number of other places with our HBCU. So I think that that's where a lot of the support has to come from. But as Al just said, we've also got to inform folks because a lot of times they are listening to jazz music and maybe not even realizing that they're listening to the jazz tunes. Because as I know, Al, there are a number of traditional jazz songs that are in everything from commercials to the video games, but sometimes the kids don't know that those are where the music is coming from and all along those lines. So it comes down to what you were just talking about, Al. We've got to do some more education so that people understand the roots of the music, whether it's going back to the jazz and the blues and some of the other roots music that existed and everything. So definitely we got to get people to have a greater understanding of the lineage of the music and all along those lines. So I think that it is a positive direction that we can go in. And like Al, I'm really enjoying some of these blended sounds. And the question I was going to ask you, Al, just really quickly is there anything unusual that you're thinking about doing? Because I know that two friends of mine, one is a jazz artist, Nina Freelon, and her son. I always get the son and the father who passed away mixed up in terms of names, but Pierce and everything have done is teaming up with a puppet troupe. So they actually did that right around Valentine's Day, and that was actually unusual. So they teamed up with some puppetry, and all on that line it was black puppetry at that. But I was wondering if there's anything unusual there in Florida, because I know Florida's got a very active cultural community that you've been involved in, whether it's drama or other things, or things that you're dreaming and visioning of doing.
I have not, but like Wayne Dyer says, don't be attached to anything, but be open to everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah.
So if something comes
I want to go back, Al, and ask you a question, something that you alluded to. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. About music being taken out of schools,
Mhm.
and the amount of energy that the kids are expelling in what we perceive to be a waste of time, but for them, it's the only way that they keep track of their time.
Mhm.
Now, if I obviously I'm a musician, I want music in school, 2-3 periods a day if possible, right?
Mhm.
But what do you think um the bigger picture, and I'm not gonna go all conspiracy theory on this show because y'all know how I feel about stuff like that. I'm definitely a conspiracy theorist. But what do you think that the overall goal to remove creativity from the minds of young people is?
Okay. And again, I'm not, conspiracy, but this is, what I'm saying and what I've heard from different people. Now, not only did they take the music out of schools, right? They took out BOCES, right? BOCES was like learning how to be a mechanic, learning how to do plumbing, because everybody's not cut out for college. So if you came out of school, you had some sort of vocation to, go make some money. Now you take those things away. Now you have idle hands, idle minds, which is a tool of the devil, right? Now, coincidentally, you have these privatized prisons, right? So what it looks like is the school to prison pipeline almost. So it's a big picture. I mean, that's just part of it. It's not all of it, but
I love it. I love it. Cause bro, I'm right there with you. And believe me, they ain't even got to come at you. They can come straight at me because I'll be driving the bus on that one. Because I didn't seen it. And Mark, your opinion, and you work with kids every weekend at Hey Tide,
Yeah.
right? The few kids that you do have,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I want just your opinion about, and keep it short, but your opinion about what we just mentioned about them taking the visual arts and creativity as well as skills like the BOCES program that you could go and learn how to do something out of schools. Why do you think the big man is doing that?
Well, like I said, and we can keep it real short. One of the biggest things, if you want to stop people from developing critical thinking, you take out the arts and you take out a number of other things, because that is actually how people first get their idea of what critical thinking is. Because you have to have critical thinking in order to even analyze what you think of the music, or what you think of the drama, or what you think of the book. And definitely that even plays into this whole notion of taking the books out of school as well, because there's a number of places, including where you are out, where they are banning the books and everything. So definitely that is for all part of that notion of not doing enough to have our people do critical thinking, and then they will be a lot of robots, and as some friends of mine call it, zombies walking around, because they won't be necessarily processing the information. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, we're the gatekeepers. So shows like this one, you know, jazz fusionists and artists such as Al and his son John, and funk bands, Jeff Rosen and Kevin Harrington, everybody that's doing something independent, we're the last line of defense. It's like those movies where you see the world is being taken over, but you got different pockets of people, and then you run into them and you be like, yeah, okay, you can come in, I'll protect you. You know what I'm saying? Because let's face it, like Al said so eloquently early on, it's about that money, and the pipeline straight to the prison factory. Now they got cheap labor, uneducated labor, So when they get out, they got to repeat that cycle. You know what I mean? And then the drug factor, you mix that in, And then also you mix in the fact that you have a large population, and this is nothing against LGBTQ plus community, but a large population, in prison now are becoming more and more, let's just say, who they were not, when they went in. So, and I said that correctly. So I think that there is a definite problem, and I don't know, like Al said, I don't know what we can all do about it other than do shows and bring attention to it and tell everyone, hey, you got a spot. If you're looking for a spot, you got a place you can land, just try to understand that there is something going on out there, man. And it saddens me to think that way. It really does. It breaks my heart, man. Al, what you got as far as equipment, and what kind of equipment do you use, and what kind of bass do you play?
Okay, I play this thing, of course. This is my Marcus Miller 4-string.
Nice.
So that's nice. What I played on your joint.
Nice.
And a good friend of mine who used to live here, he became a bass luthier, and he made this for me.
Wow.
My dimensions, my fingers. It's a super skinny neck. It's a Norwood 6-string.
Yeah.
And so these are the two things I normally use. I also use a Fender Squier fretless on occasion.
Right.
And to get back to one of the earlier questions you had, remember we talked about that supersized SVT that's maybe 400 or 500 watts. Well, now I have another amp that I use now, technology, and it's 900 watts.
Don't do that. That's 900 watts.
900 watts. I carry it in my gig bag.
Wow.
And I actually use a monitor for my cabinet because I like birch. Birchwood sounds great.
I notice a lot of guitar players, both bass and drums now, using monitors, because my guitar player Mangus uses a monitor as well, and just brings. See, this is why I love doing this show. I get educated, my audience gets educated, and we get to show people a timeline. And see, you're my hero. Black History Month. That's why I wanted to end the show with you. This is Black History Month. You are special, and you are Black history because you went from the 800-pound SVT to that. Mm-hmm. Now that's history.
That's history.
History, bro.
History, man. Hey, I gotta give it up to you because you taught me when I was playing. Remember, stop overplaying. You're overplaying. You remember those days? You're overplaying. You're playing too much, but that saved me down the line. Right? Because now I sit in there, I play what's needed to be played, and I stay employed.
Well, yeah, I was only echoing what was taught to me, So it comes from Howard Beeman, Gary Bordes, people like that. They used to tell me that. And when I first met you, man, you had so much energy, and I knew you were greatness. I used to be like, man, this guy over here, he's brilliant. He's just great, You know, because every note that you play seems like that's where it's supposed to be. That's rare.
No, but it's
That's
like
rare, man.
you say that, hey, use some of those notes on the next song.
Yeah, right. That's true. I used to say that. Save some of them. You're gonna need them. See, that's what was funny about Bernie. As much as I love him, man, Bernie used to shoot his load in 2 songs, and by the 3rd song, he had nowhere to go. You know, and that's why he also always mentions that to me. He said, "Yeah, man, thanks for pulling me back a notch."
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, man, I remember 1 to 1, we were way ahead of time.
Yeah.
Way ahead of our time, man. If we were together now doing the fusion, that stuff that we was doing back then live, bruh, you know, I still have the karaoke cassette.
Oh man,
from that place, Karaoke's, whatever. I still have that.
Wow.
The cassette. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'll try to get it done and get it to y'all, man. But Carrier's or whatever the place is called.
Carrier, yeah.
2 cassettes, bro.
Wow.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I have it. I have it. I always save that stuff because I knew it was going to be valuable one day, man. So we've been hanging out with you, Funk from the Front Seat. I know you're busy, man. You got a schedule you got to do, man. But I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you, man. And is there anything else? I'm going to give you the full screen that you want to just tell our young people, man, before we get out of here. Mark, are you back there? If not, don't worry about it because we're going to get a picture of a friend of ours that his birthday today, Carlton Collier, and he was our original Nappy Funk Army bass player, one of them. So today's his birthday, but you know he transitioned out of here last year. So I just want to see something for a second, see if I can actually pull it up. Oh, I think I can. Okay, yeah, Al, this was our. I don't know if you ever met Carlton or not.
No, I've seen the pictures before.
Yeah. He passed away in August. He was Nappy Funk Army's bass player. So Carlton. Okay. Since we're doing this Black History, I got Al on. I just wanted to say happy birthday to you up in heaven. I know you holding it down, and we got brothers like Al down here holding it down for you. So not to worry. The bass playing legacy of Black men is intact and in full. This is Black History Month on Funk from the Front Seat, man. So thank you, Carlton. We really, really appreciate you, man. You've been amazing. So, Al, I'm going to give you the full screen, man, and, let you say something, any last words you want to say, whatever. And then we get ready to get out of here. You guys are a great audience today. Funk from the Front Seat, Not on the Grind TV. I want to thank my producer, Mr. Mark Lee, and thank everybody for tuning in. You can go back and watch this show at 6 p.m. tonight, and for all our people overseas at 12 a.m. midnight. And we'll be back starting in March with a brand new show, and maybe even bring you a leprechaun or 2. So y'all hang tough, all right?
Yeah, I'm just going to keep this short and sweet. I just want to thank Funk from the Front Seat, my longtime buddy and my bottom boy, Zach Robertson, Mr. Mark Lee, for having me on this. This is truly an honor and a privilege. And for all you youngsters out there, just keep it funky.
Yo, y'all heard it. For all the youngins out there, y'all keep it funky. Make sure that you guys are following Al, and you can find all of his music right there. You can follow him on Instagram. You can follow him on everything else. And just know that you guys are loved. We appreciate everything that you guys do. And we also want to know, to hear from you. So when you guys get a chance, drop us a line. Please feel free, leave your comments, because we just love your comments and we want to hear all of them. So you guys hang tough. It's been a pleasure. We love all of you, and we'll see you guys next week. Y'all hang out for a minute. Mr. Mark Lee, I know you're back there somewhere, and I want to see if you got a last word to say. But if not, we get ready to bounce out of here. I'll see you next time, Al. Peace.
Peace.
All right. Funk from the Front Seat, 9 on the Grind TV. And don't forget, if you love somebody today, give them a hug, give them a call. If you're in any type of pain and you need to reach out to somebody today, don't be afraid. Just pick up the phone and reach out to them. It's perfectly okay. And if you need to call us or hit us or whatever, hit us up, that's fine too. We're always here for you. From the Front Seat, 9 on the Grind TV, live. So let's get out of here with this one.
Hey, yo, man, what time is it? You know what time it is, man. 2 a.m.? Yeah, man. Man, you know what? It's 8:46, bro. Wow, that's deep. Yeah, you know what time that is. Yeah, man. Nappy head, yo. Funk Army, what's up? Stand up. Get it live, y'all. Yo, drop that beat. You know what we gotta do. Yeah, man. We bringing this funk just for you. Repeat after me. Say, you don't have to be the best, just gotta outlast the rest. You don't have to be the best, you don't, just gotta outlast the rest. You don't have to be the best, just gotta outlast the rest. You don't have to be the best, just gotta outlast the rest. United we stand, divided we fall. Should our backs ever be against the wall, we'll be together until the jam is done. I'ma say that again for you. United we stand, divided we fall. Should our backs ever be against the wall, we'll be together until the jam is done. Here we go, y'all. Now let me tell you a little story about United we stand. It says we're gonna funk across this funkless land. We gon' stand up and let our voices be heard. We ain't gonna let nobody stop us from spreading the spiritual word. The ruthless corporate greedy don't give a damn about the needies. We need everybody in the house to join us on this one, alright? Y'all say, united we stand, divided we fall. Should our backs ever be against the wall, we'll be together until the jam is done. Are y'all out there? You feeling me? United we stand, come on, y'all. Divided we fall. Should our backs ever be against the wall, we'll be together until the jam is done. Yeah. Check. 1, 2, 1, 2. United we stand, divided we fall. Funkin' with the poor people most of all, as they poison our mind with food control. Third eye is wise, sacrifice. Wake up and see what they doing to you and me. Keeping a separate product of Illuminati, like the jail cell did my boss John Gotti. Dirty politics and high-priced prostitution reside in all the important positions. Just look around at the injustice in the world. Some forced to live in a deplorable conditions. Watch us, watch what we do. This rap is coming up just for you. So sit back, relax, check on our phone calls. The nappy hip hop army always bumping in your drum. Twitter, tweet, the TikTok. The ruthless corporate greedies don't give a damn about the needies. A movement, genocide and homicide is happening all around the world. Promise me this, promise me that, when all the fat cats stabbing us in the back. Man, get off my back, bro. Killing me. Let me see you wave your hands. We all wanna take a stand. Rise up against the corporate man. Let me head all across this land. Oh yeah. Nothing but this new type funk 2022. Let me see you wave your hands. We all wanna take the